next 3 years, as I said, would be to improve the city's response and communication. Right now, a lot of our residents don't know what's going on. And I think we need to improve that so people feel that they are a part of everything that's happening, whether that be new projects, whether that be city council meetings. People need to feel heard. Also, I would want to partner with council to help launch a modern utility billing system. Because right now we all have had the debacle with the trash, with how we're going to bill it, so much confusion. So we need to work together to come up with something simple so residents will have an app or something they can use to know how much water they're using, to know what their trash bill is, so everything is simple and streamlined. And also, an audit of current spending to ensure fiscal responsibility. Because right now I see a lot of spending and not a lot of spending on projects that the residents want.
Thank you. Daisy?
So my agenda is focused on three very simple things: good governance, infrastructure, and economic resilience. First, good governance, making sure city processes are clear and consistent so that people aren't trying to guess how decisions are being made, like I mentioned in the beginning. Second is that infrastructure piece, prioritizing stormwater and drainage and making sure funding is tied to real outcomes and not just being accounted for. And then third, economic resilience, supporting growth that strengthens the city long term. The Schwetman property is the closest example that we should focus on. The city has bought it and now needs a plan. So within my first 90 days, I plan on doing a phase one 90-day implementation plan to council so we can stop deferring and actually start building and utilizing that campus to what it can actually be. What is missing with all of this? We have a lot of really good institutions in this place. This theater itself is turning 100 years old this summer with the groundbreaking. We need better coordination across the city and making sure that someone can see all those pieces and how they fit together is a skill that I feel like I have.
The continued economic development that I just mentioned, and also, the drainage and infrastructure, that's really hard to see. It's been a progress for the last, since the hurricanes. Where the first hurricane, we got the water, the second hurricane, we got the winds. But the infrastructure is, I'm sorry, you just can't see all the work that's been doing. You can see once in a while, see a truck here and there, or it's down a particular street bridge. Beach Street, you probably noticed a little bit. But it's always a constant battle, and we're always trying to work with that. That's going to be real important. And then we have a whole economic situation in this community, having a river run through it. I always say there's two cornerstones in this town. One is the theater, and the other is the hacienda. But the anchor in this town is having a boat dock. And having a boat dock is real important for somebody that has a river, but we also have to have, a little bit of ecology practices with the river, because without it, we would really lose our theme and our blood, you might say, for this city. So have that economic development, that ecology, input into the river is real important.
Thank you. Next we have Kelly.
So I have several priorities. One being, obviously, I spoke about the drainage and flooding and road conditions. We also have a lot of road conditions that can be improved, including sidewalks. All of our sidewalks are not walkable. That's really important for the safety and the quality of life for our residents. And then the next one being our economic development. We need to bring in the right types of businesses. We need those businesses that are going to benefit the other businesses that are already existing here. And that might be different types of grants and different types of incentives to bring those businesses here. And then also looking at some of our cities that are very similar to ours and being able to get some of those businesses here so that we can maintain our economic development here. Those businesses also need to be open times that people are visiting here. If they come on a Monday and only 3 businesses are open, they're not coming back. So we have to do something about that to try to improve those businesses that are here, maybe set some standards to be in our downtown. And then the third would be, I've said it before, I want to really make some changes to the way our meetings are run and our vox pop, because I feel like our residents do need to be heard. We need to understand what our residents want and be able to move our projects forward faster so that we're not, Schwetman is a good example. We purchased it and it's been sitting for a long time, so it's time to get some of these projects moving before we start purchasing more property. We're not a real estate company, and I think that we need to really focus on those properties that we already have that we need to develop and really start moving those issues forward before we start getting into new issues.
Perfect. Thank you. Can we also get some volume on Daisy? Our next question, what will candidates do to ensure honesty if elected, starting with Daisy?
Well, I mean, honesty isn't just being open, it's also being accountable and being reliable. And so making sure that we have honest and transparent governance. What I do in my professional life is I focus on legislation and how it actually affects the people in that area. And within my world, that's within the founders and educators of the world. But what I've been doing locally is I've been making videos on how legislation that happened in Tallahassee, as the session just ended on March 14th, how that stuff has affected New Port Richey, specifically as a municipality. Like the state didn't pass a budget for the second year in a row, and how is that actually going to affect our city? It will, because they haven't until July 1st, but you know, there are certain things that are not going to be funded now because they have not passed this budget, and so it puts planning into a real schism, because right now they are working on the comprehensive plan for the next, you know, so many years, and focusing on that and not being aware of how much funding you're actually going to have is a big problem. Luckily, our finance department actually took a conservative approach to budgeting for that, but we need to make sure that we have leadership that understands what's happening on not just the local level, but also the regional, also the state, also national, because those policies really do affect us on our daily lives. A lot of us get wrapped up in national politics, but at the end of the day, what happens here is what matters. You know, the local trash tax, all of those things are really still upsetting for many people as we're knocking on doors. We're hearing a lot of these complaints over and over again. Making sure that residents are a part of that conversation a lot earlier, a lot sooner, and we can have that public input. And then if we make a decision that people disagree with, being able to stand on our decision and vocalize why, and maybe that'll make this issue with trusting our governance dissipate a little bit more, because we need to build back our institutions in public and service. So making sure we have pride in our town, making sure that we have governance that really has a good standard, so that other cities can look to our city and be like, oh, look at what this city is doing. They're really leading, not just in this way, and not just in this way, but actually paying attention to the residents who live here.
Thank you. Next we have Chopper.